Namaste. Welcome to this episode of the Bhagavad Gita series with my sister Bhavna Didi and me, Amish Tripathi. Today we are going to speak about food and sleep. It seems like a minor matter because you think, ye kya hai? Is this something that the Bhagavad Gita should speak about? But these two activities, eating and sleeping, actually impact your life very deeply. And there are lessons that Lord Krishna has for us in this area in the Bhagavad Gita. So, we're going to start with chapter 6, verse 16. Natyashnatastu yogosti na chaikantam anashnatah na chati swapnashilasya jagrato naiva charjuna. Didi, the translation. This is something that Lord Krishna said.
O Arjun, those who eat too much or too little, sleep too much or too little, cannot attain success in yoga. We make a big deal these days about not sleeping enough. You know, वो आजकल एक्चुअली लोग जितना रिक्वायरमेंट है उतना सो ही नहीं रहे हैं.
Yeah.
And you read newspaper articles on, not getting enough sleep, not getting enough sleep.
There are some people who also think like it's something good. There's a Gen Z term, flex or something. So there's apparently a flex. I can get by on only 4 hours of sleep. Look how cool I am.
But there's the other aspect of it. Sleeping too much, nobody talks about it. That was a problem of my generation when I, was 18, 19, 20 hours mummy.
I remember.
कि सोते ही रहते थे.
अरे अगर and Ma was very strict with all of us. We are 3 brothers. She is the eldest. हम 3 तो चुपचाप माँ से डरते थे. हम लोग जल्दी जग जाते थे. As Ma would command us to do 5:36. दीदी सोती रहती थी 8 बजे तक 8:30.
कभी कभी 10, 11. On one famous day, I slept till 1 in the afternoon.
एंड अगर हम लोग बाहर मतलब हमारा छोटा फ्लैट था 2 कमरे बाहर इफ वी डिडंट टिपटो बिकॉज ऑल 4 of us slept in one room basically and you would get angry अरे क्या है जगा दिया मुझे.
इतनी बुली थी क्या?
You bullied us, yes. The scars are still there.
So, too much sleeping is tamasic.
Yeah, gets you in a bad mood.
Absolutely.
I know. The 3 of us brothers suffered it.
But getting back to point. Okay. So the Yoga Vasisht and even Patanjali's Yoga Shastra, even the Taittiriya Upanishad actually talks about our various bodies. We have the Annamaya Kosh, which is our physical body. Then you have the Pranamaya Kosh, which is our energy body. Then you have the Manomaya Kosh, which is our the body of the thought and emotions. Vijnanamaya Kosh, which is our intuitive body, and Anandamaya Kosh, the bliss body. If we are sleeping too much or too little, our Pranamaya Kosh is not healthy. It's not functioning optimally. So we may be very muscular and we may be physically extremely healthy, but the energy body is wasting and is ultimately will damage our physical body itself. And, if I may take this further, we really require, how much sleep do we require? Modern science tells us that there are 4 stages of sleep. Stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4. Stage 1 is transitional. Our muscles relax, our eye movements, reduce. Stage 2 is also transitional. It is when the body shifts from a sympathetic, state to a parasympathetic state. Sympathetic state is when there's cortisol, the stress hormone in our body. We are in our, flight and fight, mode. The parasympathetic stage is when our emotional body shifts into relaxation. Then comes stage 3, which is deep sleep. Okay. And deep sleep is when our body does repair work. of even our visceral organs. Also, our immune system strengthens. And
Is that when the pineal gland is active? The
yes, yes,
the
yes,
third eye.
yes.
Huh.
And stage 4, which is actually the only REM stage, 1, 2, and 3 are NREM, rapid eye movement. Stage 4 is rapid eye movement stage where we dream. Now, frankly, we only need stage 3 and stage 4 because let me put it this way, stage 3 is the body resting. Okay, and stage 4 is the body doing jhadu pocha, cleaning up what, our memory consolidation. The body at the REM stage, which is the dream stage, decides what क्या याद रखना है क्या भूल जाना है. Memory is sort of consolidated for optimal life. Now we need only 1 or 2 hours, at max 2 hours, minimum 1 hours of deep sleep, and 1.5 to 2.5 hours of REM sleep. तो गिन लो कितने चाहिए. हमारे वो जो ट्रांजिशनल फेज है ना, वी यूज टू मच ऑफ टाइम in that. So optimally, we don't need too much sleep.
But most people cannot jump straight into deep sleep and REM.
Yeah.
They need that, even if they're healthy, they need a few hours to get into that. Unless you're a yogi. So
Also, the 4 stages occur in cycles of 2 hours. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4.
so you can't
that
just.
kind.
So you do need at least, I guess, 6-7 hours maybe
Uh,
for ordinary people like us, not
Sadhguru
yogis.
sleeps for only 3 hours.
But he's a yogi. I
Yeah.
mean, he's a guru. He's siddha.
Sadhguru also talks about eating the right amount. ज़्यादा मत खाओ,
Or kam mat khao.
कम मत खाओ.
Yeah, the period of fasting and eating when we spend time at Isha Ashram, Shivani, you and I, we saw everyone is so fit, but they eat only in that one meal at whatever that 10:30, 11,
11.
and another in the evening at 4:35, and nothing after that.
Correct.
So and which was the Ayurvedic way. Between sunrise and sunset, Suryodaya se Suryastak. Outside of that, you don't eat anything, just warm water. And even in that, as much. But unfortunately, modern culture has become such that people won't listen to it when you say Ayurvedic, when you say intermittent fasting, studied by the Harvard University, then it must be a good thing. But that's eat within a specific time zone, allow the sun to regulate your body processes by eating at that time.
It's like Lord Buddha's middle path, na?
Yeah.
Balanced life. ये balanced life होती क्या है?
Yeah.
क्या होती है?
I mean, no, ati sarvatra varjayit, extremism of any kind, avoid it. Don't eat too much, don't eat too little. Don't sleep too much, don't sleep too little.
So should we not work hard?
There is that recent controversy of various top executives, Infosys, L&T, various who are talking about working 70 hours a week or something. Look, my approach is, even on this, there should be balance. The question is, what is your balance? It's also a reality of where your country is and where your own life is. If you are, someone like when the 4 of us were growing up, Ma and Dad give us wonderful education, an education way beyond their social class, but there was no inheritance. I mean, there's no money. Ma and Dad themselves didn't own a flat, till after we started working, because all their investment was only the 4 of us. Now, when the 4 of us, if we started working, if our attitude was like a Western kid, मुझे work-life balance चाहिए, मैं 4 दिन से ज़्यादा काम नहीं करूँगा, तो we would have starved. We obviously had to work hard to make our lives. But if it's on the other extreme, where don't want to quote the name, but apparently one of those executives said, how long can you stare at your wife? Then it's imbalanced. You're only working, you're doing nothing else, and that is also, that's not a healthy life. You've swung to the other extreme. I'm not saying you should be lazy, Okay, and not have, you must have ambitions, you must work hard, but you must experience the other beauties of life as well. And if you can't stare at your wife, then why are you married to her? uh, there is, and if you can't even talk to your wife, if you can't even look at your wife, very soon it'll turn into a bad marriage. And those of you who are young and unmarried may not realize this, but trust me, nothing destroys your life, nothing like a bad marriage, nothing else. Ups and downs in work, tragedies, anything you can handle, but a bad marriage just claws your soul out.
It needs attention.
And nothing makes your life like a good marriage. It's like an oasis. You can fight the entire world and you come home and suddenly you just get, rejuvenated. What is that wonderful song of Bob Dylan? There's wonderful lines here, and I told Shivani this, that in a world of steel-eyed men fighting to stay warm, come in, she said, I'll give you shelter from the storm. If you have a home like that, a shelter like that, because the outside world is competitive. Why should anyone care for you? It's their job to compete with you, beat you, and your job to fight with them. At times you cooperate, but often it is a competition. There's only one place which will not be a competition, which will be a refuge, which will be a shelter from the storm. And that is actually your marriage. And if your marriage is not working, nothing else will work. So swinging to the other extreme where, it's almost a joke. How long can you look at your wife? And you're bored with your husband. And it may get you Instagram likes, but trust me, it's not a good life strategy.
But Meg, Chisbolo, you're absolutely right. Marriage needs nurturing, watering. But there is value to hard work,
Yeah.
And one does not work only for money, for sustenance. We human beings, we exist also for purpose,
Yeah, true.
And youth is the time to work hard.
Yeah, that's when you're making your foundations.
Yeah. Himanshu used to define a balanced life very differently. He used to say, yes.
Himanshu was, the late Himanshu Roy, Didi's late husband, my brother-in-law, like my eldest brother actually. I called him Dada. Sorry, yeah.
So Himanshu used to say, yes, we must all live a balanced life, but who says this balanced life has to be attained in a 24-hour cycle?
It can be over a life cycle, yeah.
Yeah, over a life cycle.
When you're young,
Youth
work
is for
harder.
hard work,
Yeah. You're making your foundations.
Yeah, old age is for spiritual pursuits. Middle life is to slow down, maybe stare a little more at the wife and the husband.
Find that balance. Look, if you're on one extreme where you're only in your marriage and not doing any work, then perhaps your spouse, be it husband or wife, will also think, what are you doing, yaar? Kuch kaam to karo, make something out of yourself. So it comes back to that point once again, find balance.
Yeah.
Not just in your food and your sleep, but in your life, in your work, in your marriage, in everything. Find balance.
Plato divided the 24-hour cycle very interestingly into 4 6-hour sessions. He said that 6 hours should be for sleep, 6 hours for hard work, 6 hours for inner work, contemplation, reflection, meditation, and 6 hours for entertainment, socializing, which included eating.
As well.
Yeah.
That's a good way to look at it.
Yeah.
And also, actually, if you're living your life in balance, your body and your soul will just tell you. There are some people you find they're working hard, but they're actually at peace because they're doing what they want to do at that point of time. And some people may actually be lazying around, doing nothing, just on their phone, scrolling through the feed, but they look angry and because they're not doing what they actually feel like doing.
Are meant to do.
Yeah. Neil, my 15-year-old son, Neil, very wise kid, and reads even more than I do. Reads even more than Bhavna Didi, if that was possible. So he'd quoted someone and told us that if it feels like hell, you're probably on the path to hell. And if it feels like heaven, you're probably on the path to heaven.
Yeah.
So listen to yourself, listen to your body, listen to your soul.
And live moderately.
Live moderately. No excess, no extremism on the other side as well. Avoid, the fallacies of famine and feast. Be in the middle.
Eat but not too much, sleep but not too much.
The perfect middle, as Gautam Buddha had advised us. Find that in every area of your life. I think that's a wonderful place. It's not the perfect middle, but the perfect end to this episode. If you like this episode, hit like and subscribe below so that you can get notified when the next episode of the Bhagavad Gita series launches. From my sister Bhavna Didi and me, Amish Tripathi, thank you so much for joining us. Namaste, Jai Shri Krishna.